Careful what you say or you'll get in there.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
All
right, welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Three Tortured Souls. Tim, Kenny, how's it going?
Doing good. Ready to test my psychic ability.
I knew you were going to say that.
I already knew he was going to say that. Yeah, so
I already knew both of you.
Dave and Kenny did not plan this, so we already have a little psychic ability going on tonight.
And
Tim already failed.
Well, no, because me and Tim had a connection.
I never drink beer on the show, and
yeah.
So,
creepy.
We're all connected. Yeah.
We're off to a good start. All right.
Actual beer. I'm going to have an actual beer. It means I'm going to be drunk halfway through.
Yes.
Perfect. That might actually enhance your psychic ability.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Ooh.
You'll achieve a higher level, perhaps.
Sounds like you've read a study about this.
No, I'm just basing it on how I used to golf. Usually by the third hole, you reached a certain level of drinking and golfing.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
I hear that a lot.
Now, I actually would kind of like to test psychic ability under the influence of different substances.
Possibly.
Especially LSD.
Oh.
I think there are some studies on that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So tonight we're going to talk about psychic psi ability, the different types. So we'll talk about ESP, extrasensory perception, anomalous, or what they call now anomalous cognition. We'll talk a little bit about psychokinesis, or anomalous perturbation, affecting things, mind over matter is the old term for it. We'll explain some of the subtypes. I dug into it a little bit. There's a recent paper that was published in American Psychologist, which is actually a mainstream journal, that they reviewed the meta-analysis, the main studies, and reviewing the data that's out there. So we can spend a little bit of time talking about that, the data that's out there to support the phenomena. And then I actually found a website that I've used numerous times if people want to play around and test your own supposed psychic ability. And hopefully we'll have some people who want to come on and test. And we can run it. It's kind of fun. It actually runs the stats for you automatically.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So it's free. Anybody can go there. And I believe you can keep running tallies of what you've done. Of course, as we all know, when you run just one quick run of a test, it can be fun. You might get a good result at first. It doesn't mean much if you do it once. If you fail one time, it doesn't mean much. If you do well one time, it doesn't mean much. But we'll play around with it. Kenny and Tim, I think they already said that they'd be good sports and try it. And we're going to have some fun. There's different tests. There's telepathy. There's clairvoyance. I believe there's a PK test. There's a sense of being stared at. Is the computer staring at you? There's a variety of different ones. So it's kind of fun. I'm going to leave my...
Is the computer staring at me?
Is the computer staring at you?
That's how the Matrix started.
It is. And maybe you're going to get sucked into the Matrix.
Oh, I'm there.
Oh, he's there. So let's say hi to a couple people that have come into the chat room already. So, hey, Carol. Hey, Bob, Kathy, JD, Peter, and Donna. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you for joining the show tonight. Look forward to having some fun tonight. So I'm gonna open it up to let's see, Tim. What do you got to say to open us up tonight?
In my experimental psychology class, we had to design an experiment, run the test, do the statistics, and publish to our professor our results. And my experimental psychology experiment was, if I remember the title correctly, The Effects of Practice on Psychic Ability. So I went out and got the cards, the squares.
The Zener cards.
Yeah. And had a good time in the student communion and asked people to come and test their psychic abilities. Do it, practice, and see how they did. Of course, it was very short-lived. It was only one semester. So, it was really bad. I don't know if it was bad. I can't say that. Nothing changed. But because nothing changed, I predicted that it would, and I was wrong. And I admitted my error, and the doctor was really pleased with that because he liked that I admitted my error on the paper. So yeah, that's my extent into testing psychic abilities.
Okay.
So I don't have too much experience in these particular topics. I've dabbled in them. We've talked about it. We've discussed various aspects of them before. The only one I've really touched on more than the others is the remote viewing kind of thing. I don't think that's actually part of our topics tonight, but that's really the extent of I've done, where I've done just the informal testing of the remote viewing. But I did learn something 2 weeks ago, is that I don't leave my remote viewing box alone with Dave or his wife, because extra things get slid into the box. So never again. I'm going to seal up them edges.
So what you're saying is it's not only skeptics that can fuck with your experiments. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You got to watch everyone.
I have a premonition, Kenny, that you were going to find maybe some business cards in there.
Yes, jackass.
I should not have said anything and made a prediction, and maybe I would have won.
So ESP, telepathy, clairvoyance. I mean, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and stuff like that. That's associated with some psychic abilities. So I have delved into those aspects of it. So, but unfortunately, the people that I've interacted with that claim to have these abilities, I never tested them formally, like as what we're getting into tonight. But the informal testing just failed miserably. So, but now I'm curious about the comment earlier about if alcohol has any kind of effect. I really want to explore that aspect of it. And I think by the end of the show tonight, I think we might have some kind of data to contribute. So we'll see. So that's about it. I don't have much. To full disclosure, I didn't research too much on this tonight, because I really didn't know what direction we were going in, and I was busy and lazy.
Yeah.
And up too late last night.
Okay, no problem. So the first thing I think I'm going to do, let's go through kind of the state of the field, or at least the state of the data. And I'm just going to go through a couple slides. I will spare you the math part of it for now.
Thank you.
So this was an article that came out a little while ago, and I believe it was 2018, an American psychologist, and it's the experimental evidence for parapsychological phenomena. So it's a review article, and what they did is looked at various different parapsychological phenomena. So let me see if we can make it a little bigger here. So you can see, can you see the slideshow? Is it a little better?
That's better, a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So couple things if you look at the different columns. So the first column is the database that they pulled from, and this is the meta-analysis findings from what they call anomalous cognition data. So you have the database, they list it, and you can find the actual publications they pulled from based on the references. And then the next column is K, which is the number of trials. So for, let's say, the first row, combined all, it says Gansfield. That means there was 108 trials they looked at there. So if you go down a little bit and it says SRI under remote viewing, that means there was 770 trials that they looked at. And then they looked at the Z-score. If we need a refresher on what a Z-score is, that's at the end of the presentation. I had it up front, but then I decided we'd probably go from 8 or 10 viewers down to 0, so I put those at the end. A p-value, I think we all recall, basically that's a level of significance, and typically they set it at 0.05 for most statistical studies. So p-values below 0.05 are typically seen as significant, and then an effect size, and that'll become more important when I compare it against sociological and psychological studies that are mainstream, and also some clinical drug studies that you'll see how this compares to mainstream drug studies, clinical studies, as well as some psychological and sociological studies. And then the confidence interval, that kind of gives you the range of where it fell within each one of these studies. So it kind of shows you that the p-values, and you look that when people, the one thing, you look at the number of trials, 108, 102, 30, 90, 770, 445, forced choice, ESP studies, 309, 248. When people say there's no data for parapsychological phenomena or psi or psychic studies, that's obviously not true. There's a lot out there, and that there's no data to support it. Obviously, these p-values are really low, which means they're highly significant. I mean, you're talking 0.1 to the negative 16th, which is very, very small compared to the cutoff of 0.05. So you would say that that's significant. And the effect sizes, while you might say they're small, some of them do get up into the 0.2, 0.3 range. And if I go to the next slide, some of those, especially in the random number generator micro PK area, they get into the 0.5 area. So the effect sizes can get to small to medium. And now, while you might think, okay, well, those effect sizes aren't very big, if you look at a couple other things that I referenced here of open science collaboration on the upper left, evaluating the replicability of social science experiments that were published in what we would all think are probably some of the top journals that we think about of nature and science. And then, of course, 100 years of social psychology quantitatively described. Those effect sizes ranged from, really 0.19 to 0.249. So those effect sizes in social psychology published in mainstream, big, important journals. And you look at how that compares to the parapsychology ones that I just talked about, and you're looking at 0.0029 to 0.5. So the effect size, the effect, how big of an effect you're seeing, it falls, most of them are falling within in that range of what you're seeing in social psychology, of what's been published in the mainstream journal articles. So moving into common medications, how does it compare to common medications perspective based on meta-analysis of major drugs? So what you're seeing here is if you take a look at different drugs and the effect sizes are listed, and if you see the yellow highlighted box, that is the range of the parapsychological studies that we just looked at in that first paper. that shows where the parapsychology studies lie. And then that's overlaid on the different drug studies. So you see that it starts overlapping in things like cholinesterase inhibitors for Alzheimer's disease, bisphosphonates for osteoporosis, antidepressants, cholinergetics for overactive bladders, statins for cholesterol. A lot of Americans are on statins for cholesterol, and aspirin for preventative of vascular disease. And then I just blew up that last one that you can see for corticosteroids. It comes close. It actually overlaps with the 95 confidence interval for those. Antipsychotics, it hits that for schizophrenia. And then the ones I mentioned before, bisphosphonates, antidepressants, statins, and aspirin. And then one of the last things I did is just combine them all, looking at effect sizes, and the red arrows show where the parapsychological or psychic effect sizes lie, and then the blue ones show where the common drugs and social psychology studies lie. So I guess what you could say is, I'm going to stop sharing, is that a lot of the data, the meta-analysis over all those studies, fall within the range that you see for social psychology, psychological studies, as well as a lot of common clinical studies. So, and there's a lot of studies out there. So the bottom line is there is a lot of data out there. The effect sizes fall within the range of what you're seeing in drug studies and social psychology and psychology studies. So the data is there, and there's something going on. What that is, I think even parapsychologists will tell you, we don't know. They're not sure. They'll admit they don't know. It's not 100% known or proven, but there's definitely something there. So I guess, maybe my view is going to be different than others, that when I hear people say there is no data, that actually pisses me off, because it's not fucking true. It's
I know
not.
this about you, Dave.
It's not. It's just not. It's not fair. And when I also hear that we need to hold parapsychology to a higher standard, then you better start taking a look at the drugs you're taking that your doctor prescribes that you take and you believe in, because some of those effect sizes are lower than the clinical studies of the drugs that you're taking and not questioning. So anyway, that's just a review on that. So I thought I'd start with that, and we could talk about that a little bit, and then move into the fun stuff of getting people tested. So I'll open it up to our lovable skeptic to get his comments on this.
I'm trying to wrap my head around everything you said. Honestly, my other screen has what is p-value. I'm trying to understand it more.
Do I need to go to my backup slides and do a review on that real quick?
I mean, it looks like it's a calculation of probability.
Correct. But yeah. And I won't go back to the slides, but I can probably do a quick verbal on that. So what a p-value is, basically it's the probability of getting a difference as big or bigger than you got if the null hypothesis is correct, or if there isn't a difference. Okay. So if you have a p-value of 0.03, that means that even if the two populations are the same, there's no difference, right? No effect. That means that 3% of the experiments, like the one you conducted, would yield a difference at least as large as the one that you found. So as you get into like a p-value of 0.01 times 10 to the negative 16th, the chances of that happening are really, really small. It's just really small.
So is that enough? Is that the results that they got, or is that what they're predicting? Like that's
That's
what
the
I'm.
results they got. The
That's-
chances of it. So you start getting into false positives, false negatives. So
Right.
what they're saying is if there really wasn't a difference, the chance that you would get that result, that's the probability. So it's really, there's a very small chance when you get into a p-value of 10 to the minus 16th, the chance that you would get that result when there really isn't a real result are very, very, very small.
Okay. So these numbers that you were showing us are indicating that they did get the results,
Yes.
right? And I guess there's so much here. There's so much to unpack, and at least for me, there's so much I don't understand with,
Mhm.
with the stats. I'm just horrible. I've never made that's my disclaimer. I'm horrible with stats, so this is very confusing to me, and I'm trying to figure it out. But
Mhm.
I think there's so much more. Like for me, it's like not just the stats, but when we're talking about the results, like I would like to get into what tests were there, what were the results, and how.
Yeah, it's a meta-analysis. So what they're doing is they set certain criteria to evaluate a whole bunch of different studies.
Right.
So they set those, and then there's those studies in the literature search. They either take them and evaluate them, or they don't.
Right.
Based on like, are they blinded? Are they double blinded? Did they meet certain criteria? Did they evaluate it a certain way? And then they include it or they don't.
Right. And so based on the criteria that they're accepting or rejecting studies, like that's what I would be interested in. Like, all right, what's the criteria? Like, what are we accepting? What are we not accepting? And then I think we've gone through this before with me. Like, I need to get into the nitty gritty. I need to see like.
Well, yeah, and I can send you that paper, and that paper references. Boy, I don't know if they listed how many, but it's a gazillion different studies that you can look up, and they explain how they did that. And meta-analysis, it's pretty common in mainstream science to get a feel for the overall data and the overall state of the field and the state of the data. What does it look like?
Right. Yeah, I'm confused still, but hey, Tim, your turn.
My statement is the last 15 minutes of this show is exactly why I just email Dave when I have a statistic question. That's all. It's not my strength. It's not my wheelhouse. Need I remind everybody I love statistics so much in college I took it twice.
Was that by choice?
But
No.
I think it's a good point though, because unless you're willing to do that deep dive and think about it, to make a blanket statement that something exists or something doesn't exist, that's pretty hard to do.
So when we're talking about these results, then, like, I guess where I'm going, I'm going to try and go into a direction. I don't know if this is the right direction, but I'm just going to hit the gas and see what happens.
Yep.
So I guess are the results that we're finding, these positive results, I guess that create this data that's in favor or in support of these different kind of abilities, I guess we can call them. What's the, I don't know how to phrase it. What's the actual result? Like, are we talking like something that's mind blowing, or are we talking like really, 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 really tiny that?
Good point.
Is it real or not? Like, is it still questionable that it really is real?
That's good. That's a really good point.
Yes.
It's a small. That's what the effect size is saying. How big is the difference versus, let's say, a chance finding? Like, let's say if you had, I don't know, let's say a deck of cards and you guess the symbols, and there's a 25% chance of getting it right, and you guess 30%. And it can be significant, but the effect size is small, right? Because you guess 30 and it's a 25%. It's really small, but it's significant. So even within that review, in that article, what they're saying is the effect size is small, but it's significant. So what they're saying is that it's hard to find and see these effects because while they're real, it's really small. And a couple reasons for that is there might be a noise to signal ratio problem that you may have to find optimal conditions that bring out this phenomena. You might actually have to find people that are, like sports athletes that are really good at this versus just like let's put the three of us up against some NBA basketball players. You think our abilities in basketball are going to shine against those guys? You got to look for people that have these abilities that are really good. So there
this white boy can't jump.
Absolutely. And they've shown that people that have shown prior ability that are good way outperform just the general public in these tests. So there's a lot of differences. So they're still working through those problems, to be honest. So what they're saying is there's an effect there, but what contributes to that and what makes people perform better and what those conditions are, they're still working through that. But they've identified certain things like if you have a low noise to signal ratio, it might work better. There might be psi-conducive states like Gansfield sensory deprivation. Maybe there's, dream ESP tends to work better. They're trying to work through those issues. They don't have all the answers, and they readily admit that. They don't know. The effect is small, and that's why you might have trouble consistently finding it overall. And when you study just one single person or try to find that one single superstar, it can sometimes be problematic, and they admit that.
Okay.
So that's a good question.
That's what I'm getting at. Like your example with the cards, your effect size would be one run. That's the example, right? Because ran through it once. You had 25% chance because it's a 1 in 5, and 25 cards, right? And 5 symbols, but you have a 25% chance, and they score 30% on one run. So if you do another run and they score 10, now how does that affect these stats? Now
it obviously brings it down. And then you keep going, you have to do more and more and more runs. That's maybe that's where I'm getting at. So these effect sizes are so small that the data is there, like you said, but it's just not enough. It's the same thing you'd say with a clinical trial. If like the aspirin thing, if your effect size is really small and you only had a couple people, you wouldn't see the effect.
Okay.
I mean, that's why some of the clinical trials are so big with thousands of people. And actually, if you think about it, that's why some of the adverse effects that only pan out when you launch a drug in a general population, you don't see it until you do that. Because it doesn't show itself until you see it in millions of people as opposed to 5,000 people in a drug trial.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting it now. It's starting to sink in a little bit. It's computing.
The fog's lifting.
Well,
yeah.
I have one end is trying to put the fog back.
Yeah. So Bob has a question. Is there a chance that Gardner's intrapersonal intelligence comes into play? People who are able to read other people, not telepathy. Yes, that is a good question. And they actually do things to control that. They'll separate people. They won't let them see each other. They have them in different rooms. They use screening procedures. They do things to where they will not, they'll control for that, basically. And actually, James Honerton and Prominent Skeptic, they work together to really clamp down on all the problems that were in a lot of the initial studies. So there's a lot of parapsychologists and skeptics that have worked together to improve the procedures and make this data a lot better than what it first started out a long time ago. Bob, what is the year of this study or meta-analysis? 2018, Bob.
So this intrapersonal intelligence thing, I just looked it up. I've never heard this before. So this is the capacity to understand oneself, to have an effective working model of oneself, including desires, fears, capacity. So you basically know yourself. And it sounds like the control is to prevent people from trying to read other people based on their own experience. Like if you walk into a room and I look at you guys, I can kind of read like your facial expressions, your posture, see if you're like bored or confused like me, happy or getting drunk like Tim. So they're guarding against that. What Bob was talking about with the telepathy, not just reading someone's mind, but being able to the more natural ability of reading someone's, expression and tone and all that stuff. So they're guarding against that. And you said by putting people in different rooms.
Yeah, they try to they control for that.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to understand these terms because, like I said, I've never heard that before. So that was an interesting thing. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
I feel smarter.
You actually are smarter now.
I like this. I'm
You
learning.
statistically made a jump towards the higher end of the spectrum.
All right.
All right. So anybody want to try some testing?
Yeah, let's do some tests.
All right.
Let's see if we're psychic.
Psychic.
Sexy psychics.
All right. Let me get this called up and get the screen going. All right. So what do you want to try first? You want to try the guess the cards?
Oh.
A quick ESP. Who wants to go first, Tim or Kenny? And then we'll ask somebody in the audience if they want to try.
I'll go first.
Tim, you're going to go first?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Tim's going to go first. All right, Tim. What do you think it is? You call it out and I'll click it.
Square. Damn it.
Wrong. No, go ahead.
I'll go square again. Damn it. Star. Ooh. Circle.
I wish I could electrocute him.
Square. Shit. I'm one ahead of everything. Squiggly lines. Oh, yeah.
Bacon.
Squiggly lines again. Shit. Star. Oh, I'm psychic.
Ooh.
Not yet.
The plus sign. I'll go with what is the circle for 100, Dave? Circle again. I knew that was going to happen. Plus sign. I'm gonna roll.
Damn.
Star. Squiggly lines. Oh, I started to do square. Square. Damn. Circle. Squiggly lines. I like those.
I don't like you.
Plus sign. Yes. I'm feeling the star. Feeling the star, Dave. I should have gone plus. Square. Oh shit. Circle. Circle. Oh, square gets a circle. Star. I'm not getting into the CIA, am I?
No.
No goats for me. Squiggly lines. Shit. Square. Damn it. Was that it?
Yes, you scored 6 hits. A score of 10 or more would suggest ESP. So you
All right.
failed.
So
That was fun.
I'm shooting for 10.
All right, Kenny, you want to try?
Sure.
All right.
All right. Here we go.
Here, let me hit start. Okay.
Just feel it.
Square. Bacon.
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 Woo.
Star. Square. Square. Yeah. Plus. Oh. Plus. Oh. Plus. Yes. Star. Square. Square. Plus. Star. Circle.
Ooh.
Bacon. Plus. Square. 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 Plus. Circle. Circle. And circle. I beat you, bitch.
You got one
I
more.
knew that you would, though.
One more.
Bacon. Bacon. Ah,
Yep.
all right.
All right.
So I'm not psychic. I didn't think I was, but
All right.
my only goal was to beat Tim. That's the only thing I was going for.
All right. Let's see.
Almost
What
came
else
out
we
my
got
nose.
here? Psychokinesis tests. Anybody want to try a... Should we try to influence something? You want to... Should we all try to move the PK meter?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, everybody in the audience and the 3 tortured souls, what we want to try to do, let me try to find the this one. Okay. So for 1 minute, I think what we're going to try to do is you try to push this one way or another. So let's all decide. Let's try to push it to the right. So clockwise, okay? Everybody good with that?
Good.
Yep.
All right, you ready? And then we'll kind of talk about the 2 tests. We'll talk about some of the challenges of what we did with the card guessing game. Oh God, he's going to try to be Iron Man. Tony Stark didn't have any psychic ability. What the hell?
He was just rich.
He was just rich. He could buy the test results. All right, here we go. You ready? So counterclockwise, push it to the right. You ready? Go. Damn it, Tim, you're breaking our concentration. Shut up.
Oh, sorry. I think Kenny was sleeping. I really do. I think it's the only reason he came out.
So, once again, fail. All right, so
wait a minute.
yeah, it said it didn't work, but to me, it looked like it pushed it clockwise. I'm not sure why it said it failed.
I think we had a little misunderstanding going because you said push it to the right, which would have been the way it went, but you also said let's do it. Let's get it going counterclockwise.
Clockwise. I said clockwise.
I'm pretty sure you said counterclockwise.
Oh, I thought I said clockwise.
That confused me because I was like, all right, wait, what way am I going here? But
we should probably try it again if I was not clear. Let's try it one more time. All right. Clockwise. Clockwise.
So we're going to go,
clockwise.
It's going to go this way, right?
Clockwise.
Wait, is it? Yeah. That way. Yeah. Okay.
Clockwise.
Okay.
Like a clock. We're going to go
like
towards.
A clock.
Yes. A clock.
A
Ready?
Clock?
All right. Dave said, fuck me. Okay. Clockwise. Clockwise.
Thanks, Tom.
Oh, we're sucking. There it goes.
Which one of you is working against us?
Yeah.
I think it's Donna.
Yes, I agree, Pedro. The purpose of this test is to piss you off.
I want to push buttons. I'm used to a controller.
And we failed.
Results. Evidence for the results. So is it measuring like each time it goes?
I think each time it moves. Each time it moves.
All right.
Yeah. So if it's kind of the net effect. So where you're at, and it goes a certain amount, and then it goes back. So it's got to be the net effect.
I don't think we're psychic.
Nah, I don't think so. Not at least not in this limited testing. All right. So what else we got here? Precognition. What other fun tests can we? Ooh, predict whether the eyes will stare at you. You know, Kenny wants to try that. Let's see. All right, we'll let Kenny try this one. You ready?
God, what am I doing? Test your.
You're gonna here. Okay, are the eyes gonna pop up staring at you or not? Tell me, staring or blank?
Blank. Damn it!
Wrong.
What the hell kind of eyes are those?
That didn't look like it was staring at me.
I don't think it was looking at me. It was looking.
Oh, they're looking at you. They're looking at you, soccer.
All right. So that's it. Oh, you only get one.
Nope. 10 trials.
Blank. Fucker. Blank. I am as about anti-psychic as there is. Like, you can't get any worse than me. Blank.
If you'd have picked the other way, you'd be so crushing it.
Wow. Blank. Shut up! Blank. What the hell? This is fixed. Blank. Fuck you. Blank. I got one. Dude, all I can hear is Donna like cracking up downstairs.
If you'd have started off with stare and stuck with it right now, you'd be like a psychic god.
All
You'd
right,
got
that
9
was
out
fun.
of 10.
That's some
Okay,
bullshit.
let's talk a little bit about what we did. Okay, so the first one on the ESP cards. So the problem with that and these tests, and they're computerized, and we don't know the site and how they're generating it.
Right.
Obviously, you don't know if it's truly random. You don't know if how they're being picked. The other problem is if it did show any true signs of psychic ability, how do you know that it's actually telepathy, or you're influencing or somehow using PK to influence how it's being picked on the computer?
I would even offer a third item here is that there is no card.
It's probably using a random number generator to randomly pick.
Like there's no card there. We're trying to guess the card,
right?
But there is actually no card. There's nothing there until you click it, and then it changes. So,
or how do you know? And I think it's one of the things we could have selected, and they actually look for when they actually do the real cards. How do you know you're not precognitively picking cards?
Right.
Because they've done that where they find out, okay, you didn't pick the one that was the one at the time, but you're actually picking the one ahead of it. That's where this gets really messy, and where actually parapsychologists kind of get dinged. It's like, okay, well, you didn't find an effect for the test that you're doing, so you start looking for other effects, either precognitively or retrocognitively, and you're just trying to find a result.
Okay.
So they get beat up about that.
Yeah.
And I can see that, but I mean, it's kind of interesting when you take away the time and space component. Okay, so you looked at it and you get a result. It's like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. You're trying to find a result, but it's kind of interesting.
Well, I guess you could also say with everybody else watching the eyes, who knows which one it was picking up.
Mm-hmm. And Bob said maybe you have an electromagnetic ability and you are affecting the circuitry. I think that's kind of getting to the potential of the PK issue. Let's see, what's this? If anyone had not previously demonstrated any kind of latent psychic ability, is it reasonable to believe they may do well on these tests? I don't know. I think that's why they test the general public, and they try to find people that might have some sort of ability. And then if they do well, I think they like to test them additionally and further to see if they can continue to do that.
Because you could have that random run that's just like they get a lot, they get a high percentage.
Mm-hmm.
But it's better than chance, but it's one run. And you'd have to do a bunch more before you determine anything.
JD, what happens if we all do nothing? Well, you're useless, then we dump you to the side. Goodbye.
I think he means for that needle test.
Oh.
If you didn't do anything, would it still move around?
The idea is it shouldn't. It would be negative. So what you would want to do, I guess, in a formal test is you would have people sit there and not do anything, or they wouldn't know it's running. You would have them, it wouldn't be on the screen, but it would be running. You wouldn't see it. And then you would pop it on the screen and give them direction.
Okay.
And that would be the control session.
I mean, that's something that, you can all do if you just log onto the site and just click it and see what happens.
See, we got some scientists here. Tom says, refresh the page and do a counterclockwise. There you go.
There you go. We'll see if we can push it the other way. But again, it's like,
Yeah, Dave. Fuck you. JD, calm down.
Calm down.
This is a good point by Carol. Also, some psi people could only connect to something with emotional content. Yes. They find that when they run psi tests, that if they use something with emotional content, they tend to do better. And if you have forced choice and it's kind of a boring test, they don't do as well as if it's um, more interactive, free choice, emotional content. They typically do better.
Okay. I think, if you don't mind, I might have a test for you guys.
Okay.
Bring it.
Thank you.
I brought it.
Producer Donna, who I can hear cracking up downstairs. So let me make sure. Yes. I have my official Ghostbusters ESP test. So I have real cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got them all.
Nice.
Stars and there you go. So how about I pick? I'll let each of you guys do 5 and try to see, because Dave didn't take the test. I noticed.
I don't want to scare you.
No. Oh, really?
And how bad I am.
And we'll leave it up. I'll put each card up for about 10 seconds. That way people in the chat room can also guess.
Yep. Real quick, JD, that's an interesting idea. Do a slideshow of either emotionally charged images or emotionally neutral. One of the things we didn't talk about is pre-sentiment tests, and they measured, I think it was electrodermal activity or something with gut activity, and they showed either like an erotic image or just a neutral image, and they found that just slightly before the erotic image was shown, there was a response a couple seconds before the image was shown, and those that had the emotion or the erotic image elicited a response ahead of time. So it's pretty interesting stuff. So,
and where do we sign up for this?
penthouseforum.com.
Okay. Oh, I've taken that one. Yeah. Intimately familiar with that test. All right. I think I'm trying to make sure they're shuffled up, because I haven't used these yet. I got these as a novelty, and I was like, oh, because I wanted Zener cards. All right. So you guys ready? Who wants to go first?
So we should mark down our choices, or are you going to tell us if they're right or wrong?
Let's see. I'll hold the card up for 10 seconds. That should be enough for the delay that everybody in the chat room can. Yeah, you guys keep score.
Okay. You just tell us if they're right or wrong. Okay.
All right. You ready? Here we go. I'm just going to pick it at random.
Plus sign.
Tim?
Bacon.
Should I just reveal it? I think. Let everybody else give it time. And then here we go. Ready? Square.
Okay, and our choices are plus, bacon, circle,
Star.
Yeah.
Star.
Yeah.
Square.
Right.
Okay, so
Circle plus bacon, square, and star, because it's the points.
Mm-hmm.
Each one represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because it's
already know what's coming up next.
Oh, good. What is it then?
Oh, I'll won't change.
No. Come on, bitch.
Star.
Square.
And...
Yes.
Dave got one. Haha.
Squiggly line.
Bacon.
Bacon.
Plus.
Oh,
You're cheating.
Yeah, that's right. I actually have 4 other cards in my hand.
Kenny, put your glasses on.
Oh, no.
Put a mirror behind you. Star.
Plus sign. Boom.
Boom. All right. No, I love all the guesses. Everybody's guessing. That's cool.
Circle.
Let me touch the screen.
You want any closer?
Definitely feeling bacon on this one.
Bacon. All right. Here we go.
God,
Damn.
this is terrible.
All right. That was 5. You want to do 5 more? It's up to you. You don't have to.
Yeah, we can do more.
Okay.
Plus.
Just bacon. I'm just going to call
Plus.
bacon.
Plus.
Square.
Are you sure bacon's an option? Or am I just hungry?
Circle.
I thought circle, so circle. Oh no!
Fucking bacon.
I quit. I lost my pen.
Circle.
Star.
Yes.
Yes.
Dave's kicking my ass.
Yeah. Two correct. Mm-hmm. Kevin Bacon.
Bacon.
Oh.
Yeah, bacon.
Nice. Look at that. Last one.
Square.
Star.
I love the confidence.
Star.
Dave got it.
Jeez.
There you go.
I'm 1 for 10.
Move over, Professor Xavier. Wolverine's got a new daddy. All right.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That's good.
All right. Let's see. Any other questions in the chat room? Otherwise, I don't have a whole lot more. Well, I just see a whole lot of guesses here.
Yeah. How everybody in the chat room, like, how did you guys do? Let us
Donna
know
got
how many.
8.
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
right.
Let's go through. How did everybody do?
Sandy
Okay.
got 1. Donna got 8. Bullshit.
Damn. Donna needs to go undergo some formal testing, I think. Bob got 30%. That might be, that could be potentially close to being scary.
But if Donna got 80%,
If Donna got 8,
She got 8 out of 10?
Number.
Damn.
damn.
That's, well, yeah, we need to, yeah.
We're going to sign her up for the $250,000 challenge
I think so.
because I need to get paid.
No. First thing, we're going to test her with the lottery. So she needs to give me the lottery numbers.
Because 80% of those numbers, that pays well.
Good enough.
Really
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. Let's see. Carol got 1. Sandy got 1. Donna.
I got 1.
Yeah. Tim got 1. I got, how many was it? 3? 4. 4. Yep. Kenny Biddle, you fool. You've had a psychic in your miss all this time. Carol says test Donna again.
I will. I'll test her tonight. We'll see how well she does on run 2.
Run 2. Told you we need to play the lottery. All right.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right. I guess that's it. Anybody else have any questions, comments? Otherwise, I think we're probably ready to move into our closing comments and summary. And I will start with Tim.
Yes.
This is fun stuff. I mean, either way, either if you believe in it or not, I mean, that's a good website. I guess it collects all the data as well. So all the guesses.
I'll post the link.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty cool idea, actually. It's a good way, I think, to get a broad range of people. Maybe at least you have a potential from different countries, even. I don't know. It's kind of fun. I grew up I remember Uri Geller, and seems like there was one other famous spoon bender when I was a kid. Like I actually the keys. They would bend the keys. They would put the keys in the palm, and they could bend it.
Geller did that. Yeah, he did that.
Yeah, I remember that. And as a kid, it was fascinating to me. It was just absolutely fascinating. And until I got older, and then life. But I like it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I like it. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of testing it. I really do. I don't see why, there's no really harm in testing it. It's fun. I think we should do this like a pop quiz for some of our shows, just randomly pop up and have the audience guess just to see. I think that would be great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I do. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. It was fun to test it, and I'm always open to test things like this. I mean, I love getting into it, except for the stats. I'm not into that part, but that's why we refer to Dave. Like,
Dave.
I will do the field work. I will do the leg work. I will, set things up. I will be part of the testing, whatever, and then hand it all over to Dave and say, here you go.
I will design the shit out of an experiment and hand it off to someone else.
Yeah. And I mean, it was fun doing this tonight, the way we were doing it. And maybe we can get into, like, if we revisit this topic, and we can actually bring people on and test them, like we'll put someone in the hot seat and say, all right, here we go, or we'll just add people, I'd like more show. Okay. And I got to learn more about like p-value and the testing and a better understanding of what's out there. So I will try to curb my remarks in the future about there's no data out there. Now I might say something like there is data. It's a little bit, but there is data out there. And go from there. So I did learn something tonight, which I like. I really like when something like this brings out new knowledge for me. So I'm very excited about it. So that's it for the closing statement.
Okay. And I'm going to read something from the paper that I think is pretty fair. Quote, the analyses satisfy the local and global criteria specified by a critic of psi who demanded replicability, consistency of effects, and the cumulativeness. The meta-analysis conducted on studies using different protocols and by different researchers provide cumulative, vertical, and horizontal support for psi. Vertical in the sense that across time, different protocols have continued to produce positive results beyond what would be expected by chance and with increasing methodological rigor. Horizontal in the sense that there is support for psi across research areas. But then they go on to say, the positive case for psi, however, should not be overstated because our knowledge of it is far from satisfactory and scientific conclusions are tentative. The level of replication, although comparable to other areas, leaves much to be desired, and the effect sizes are small, and theories need to be developed and tested further. So basically what they say is there's data there, but we need to be cautious. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done. And this is a parapsychologist saying this. They're being completely fair and completely realistic. So that's positive in my mind, that there's data there, but you know what? Don't jump to conclusions. There's a lot more work that needs to be done. So I thought it was fun tonight. It kind of gave me a chance to jump into some data and statistics and then kind of have a fun interactive show, do a little bit of testing. And I know Carol said, are we going to test people individually? We could, but I think it's more fun if you take the link and test yourself. Everybody can go log onto that website. It's perfectly legitimate. It doesn't cost any money. It's a good website, Bob. I've used it many times, play around with it. It's fun. It's a great place to go and just test yourself and do it as many times as you want and enjoy. It's an interesting area. It actually gives you a chance, if you're interested in math and psychic phenomena and statistics, it kind of gives you an idea to see how it all comes together and play with it and practice and learn from it. So enjoy, have fun. I think it's interesting, and you might learn something by doing it. So hope you all had fun. That's all I have for tonight. And do we have anything coming up in the near future? I'll start with Tim because it's probably short.
Yeah, I'm doing a show every Saturday at 8:00 with
Really?
2 of my
Me
friends.
too.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Ooh. I have evidence that, or at least data that supports it. You knew I was going to say that.
You do.
I do.
All right.
I actually coming up, I think I'll speak. Everybody else can join in, but we have a private showing for the movie, and I forget what it was called.
Ghost Watch.
Ghost Watch, yeah. So I think what we're going to try to do is we have to do a private showing because we cannot stream it live.
Right.
Yeah. So we can just we can do a private viewing. I have the ability to on a Zoom channel that can seat enough of our viewers. It can count all 7 of us. But I think what we're going to do is if you're interested, just message us your email, and we will send a link, and all of us will get in and watch it together, same time.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is going to be next Saturday. So
Start of the show.
Yeah,
Yep.
Next Saturday, start of the show. We'll so we won't be broadcasting on StreamYard next week. So yeah, send us not an email, but a message. Send a message to the site, our Facebook page, 3 Tortured Souls. Send us a message telling us that you want to participate, and make sure that if you're going to participate, actually participate. That's all. And then we'll send you the link to the Zoom conference call, and then we'll play the video and we'll all watch it. Because we haven't watched it. We tested it out to make sure I could play it, so it does work. But we only watched the opening credit. And that's
It does work.
Yeah, it does work. We're happy, so we're gonna watch it next week, which is great because then I don't have to come up with a topic. It's awesome. I snuck out of that one. But for everything else, I do have a few things coming up. Most notably, let's see, August 20th to 22nd, I'll be in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania for the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. And it's a ghost conference, but it's for a good cause. I kind of said that like, the ghost conference is a bad thing. I'm not trying to say that. It's for a good cause. It's for Pennsylvania Wounded Warriors and like Heroes for Hire, which sends out costume people like in Batman suits and stuff like that to hospitals and cheer kids up and stuff like that. So really good cause, good time. I'll be there. And then there's a few other things, but they're further in the future, so I won't get into those right now. And that's it.
All right. Well, everybody have a good weekend. Thanks for listening tonight. Hope you had fun, and look forward to a private viewing of Ghost Watch next Saturday. And everybody take care. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Three Tortured Souls, three Tortured Souls, three Tortured Souls. Game is the real, ghost was the name. Game is the real, game is real. Don't question me. Game is the go, game is out. Game is the go, ghost everyone. I'm on TV. Three Tortured Souls, three Tortured Souls, three Tortured Souls, three Tortured Souls. Careful what you say or you'll get to bed.